Good morning. I'd like to introduce today the limited edition Blacksteel by Breitling. They make a lot of watches for the professional person, and this particular one is a little bit unusual. The steel case has been covered with what they call a DLC coating, which gives it this black steel, very hard diamond-like carbon finish. And you actually get a polishing on it as well as a matte finish, which is certainly a little bit more unusual, as you can see from the buttons, which have actually been polished as well. Now, with this particular one, this is the GMT. They only produce 1,000. We've managed to obtain one of these watches recently, so we're quite pleased to be able to show it to you. It retails at $7,750. Sapphire glass. The case back is, as you can see, matte finish steel, which is screwed on. So therefore it is definitely a waterproof watch. Now you'll notice that I've set this particular one with everything pointing directly up. If we push the button in, you will see this is the second sundial which starts. If we pull it right out, everything stops, and then as we move it forward, we move not only the normal hands but the 24-hour hand, which is this sort of red arrowhead finger, also is moving round once every 24 hours. Now the reason why I wanted to set it to midnight is so that you can see exactly how it's set. Now here, if you look at the date, which is the 27th, I always like to take it to the day before. And the reason for that, so if we are now on the 28th, as we're going through these various cycles, you will see this is now midday, because your 24-hour hand is pointing to the 12th. Now you may wonder why we're doing it this way, but otherwise you will end up out of sequence. So we can just take it round a little bit till we get to midnight. With the new zero movements that they're using, this is a 04 movement, the new in-house Breitling movement. The power reserve on these is 70 hours. And as we come up, there we go, you've changed. And then we're moving on. Now, the other feature is that if we pull it out to the quick date change mechanism, it moves the hour hand only. So therefore, if we wanted to go forward or backwards, 1 hour, 2 hours, whichever it may be, you can actually alter it. That's the beauty of this particular watch. Now, if you wanted to change the date, in other words, if you haven't been wearing the watch for some time, the first thing you've got to do is to wind the watch up and give it sufficient power. So once you unscrew it from the case, again give it 30 winds, just backwards and forwards, you'll feel the resistance between your fingers from the mainspring. You'll feel it charging up. Once you've done that, you can then pull it out and alter the fingers accordingly. But in order to synchronize everything, because otherwise you will be out of sync because of the hour hand. So this is why you would need to alter everything to midnight, like so, and then if we bring this up, it will now change to the 29th, and we're now synchronized for midnight. If it was the 29th today, we will then take it forward. So you've got up nice and early, it's 7 o'clock, and then you can set it and synchronize it accordingly. Now you can actually wait until the seconds hand is also at the o'clock before you push everything back in. So in other words, when you pull the button right out to alter all the fingers together, it will in actual fact stop the watch. So it enables you to set it precisely. And as I say, one of the instruments for professionals that Breitling produce, that is certainly a feature. So we now have it set at 7 o'clock. Once you get the pips either on the radio or on using the speaking clock, you can then push it in. It is then set precisely. So quite a nice feature. The crown will then screw down onto the case. If you turn it over, you'll know that you've connected it properly because it's very flush against this recessed case, which helps protect the button from damage. You're now set. Now on these particular buttons you can't push it, because unlike certain watches with Breitling, you have to unthread the chronograph. So in order to operate the chronograph, you have to unthread it, and then you will press, and then the seconds hand will start, and you have a recording of at the 3 o'clock minutes, and at the bottom here you have hours. So you would use the timing mechanism for whether it be a distance that you're measuring over or a given point, so that you can calculate speed and give you precise measurements. You'll notice on the inside, you'll see in red here, if it can be picked up, it actually says tachymeter. And then when you look at the inner bezel, you can see that once you get to a certain position and a time point, you can stop it. To zero it, you have to press the bottom one. Now, the idea of these particular buttons, when it is screwed down, it also makes it waterproof, like so. So you can't operate them. So if you are swimming or using it all the time in water, then you don't have a problem of any water getting into the case at all. They've used a rather nice black rubber strap which has Breitling on it. The deployant buckle with a quick release, 2 buttons for a quick release. It's adjusted to your wrist size. If you look here, you'll see a series of little markings on the back of the rubber, and there's holes. This is for a very strong spring bar which is inside the clasp. If you look at the clasp closely, you'll see push. You can actually push that down and reduce the clasp. So it's like a ratchet, it will fit into that position. So you can make it slightly smaller. The other way that we make it smaller, we'll actually cut the strap and then refit it to the buckle so that you get the precise size of your wrist. Now, if you go abroad, your wrist may expand. You can then push this down and release it. As you can see, I've released that now, half the width. So it can give you several millimeters of extra size, which can be certainly convenient. So that is the ratchet fastener, which is rather nice. Sapphire crystal. The luminous dots, the hands, they use superluminova in order to really stand out in the dark. But I think from not only a professional sports watch that we have, as you can see from the back, when you look at the engraving, it's 500 meters. So it's quite a considerable depth that this has been tested to, in order to withstand those pressures and to be waterproof to that level. a really nice collectible watch. We have it available now at Lyon Jewelers. You can find us online, or please give us a call. Being authorised Breitling stockist, we'd only be too glad to help you. Thank you very much. Goodbye.